Morning everybody, I'm Trey. Welcome back to Overland Hemisphere. Maintenance is a big part of your truck. I walk around my truck every morning and well, come back from the store this morning and we got a flat. Let's do something about it. Morning neighbor. Looks like I got some early morning content this morning. Gonna plug a tire. Yeah. Have a good one. This is what we got going on today. Right. There's our problem. I don't know what or where, but that's a pretty good indentation. You can see none of the other tread blocks have something like that. So let's get her done. I've never had proper tools. Well, it's been a long time. So the jack is just enough to pick up the tire high enough to spin it. I don't have the original, I don't know what you call it, whatever goes in that thing. So I just use some vice grips to tighten it down. And one of my fishing rod, Iron Maiden. You don't gotta be pretty, y'all. It's just gotta hold. So here's my big box store tire repair kit. I've used it once before, but it was a slow leak, nothing quick like this. So we're going to clean the damaged area and we'll probably insert 2 of those in there and we'll fill it back up. Hopefully it holds. I mentioned my wife and I just came off of some feverish days. We got no energy, but it was holding a little bit of air. Can y'all hear that? In retrospect, I shouldn't have attempted to put 2 of them in at one time. It was way too difficult, and I'm not sure that's how anybody does it anyway. All right, so we got the 2 plugs in. They are set correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a safety blade and trim the excess off. And then we will air up the tire and check for leaks. Now put your stuff back away. You don't want to leave. Oh, I remember what I was going to do, isn't it? Time for a new kit though. I think I know another part of the order I'm going to put in with an amazing company who makes great products, of which we'll be receiving a couple. And once we do, we'll give you guys a full review of them new, and down the line, how it works for us. Well, I searched for my tire pressure gauge, but I couldn't find my functional one. I attempted to start putting air in the tire. The tire started to hold air fine, and I was going to use the quick rapid deflate gauge that I have, and I did it once and I figured this is not going to be time conducive, and instead I asked my wife if she could find one. Unfortunately, the one she found was one we had filled with water once, and it was not functioning. So we decided to turn the truck on. It's got its own tire pressure sensors, and we filled all the tires up to the correct pressure we want them to. What do they say?
It's going over to 120.
What about the other one?
They're both going in the same direction.
Shit. Alright, let me try with this. A quick shout out to the South Texas Mustangs Club and the South Texas Muscle Car Clubs. I'm an avid fan of muscle cars and the era. I've owned a handful of them. Right now we aren't practicing, club members, but we do enjoy checking out the cars. I do own a detail company with my wife, an auto detail company, and we just want to let them know if they ever need on-site detailing before a show, at the show, after the show, they can holler at F4 Auto Detail. 20 pounds. These are handy. The only one I have, and it was reading accurately, but with the tire off the ground, it's a little hard for me to tell. I need to lower it real quick and we'll show you that. Before we do, we'll check for leaks. No leaks detected.
Also need a bigger jack. It was good for the 1500, but
Not too good for the 25. So as you can see, with just a little bit of elbow grease and knowledge, some products that still have a little bit of life in them that need to be replaced, which, as I mentioned, I'll be doing here soon from a very reputable company with a great announcement coming along with that. You guys stay tuned. And remember, at Overland Hemisphere, we always say one thing: let's get there. So in a few of the videos and the comments, we have had people ask about the Iron Maiden and if we could do a walk around. Today, as we did some content on repairing a tire here for Samson, we are going to walk around the Iron Maiden with you today. My wife enjoys this apparatus because it's much easier to pack. There is an electrical system that we can put the battery on very easily and have lighting. The downfall is you're towing a trailer. Other than that, I'll let her say a little bit more about it.
Well, my favorite part is this, where we get to cook. That's why I want you to modify it for like a little kitchen area. And the other side of bar area. The other side of bar area. With like little brackets for condiments and stuff like that.
Let's see the other doors.
What do we usually put in here? Like the toe stuff?
Mm-hmm. We designate more of the heavy things to the front and the center of the near the axles. You can see the wiring that goes through. It's going to need repair.
This is where we had the other wiring. And these lights, do they work?
They still work. They just need to
Rewiring.
do some wiring work on them.
Hide the wiring in there. A good welding job right here. We're gonna fill this up.
You see, I finally filled in all of that.
The only thing I don't like is this. I wish it was a little bit taller. Because I'm always afraid that the step is gonna slide out and fall out.
But
And it's hard.
But have we lost anything yet?
No, and it's hard to it's hard to open.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Here, you hold this.
Oh, it was easy for you.
Well, I'm a little bit stronger than you.
Of course. I don't think we've used the table recently, but it is helpful. How far out does it go?
It goes up that far.
Oh, wow. So we could probably use it as a dining table too, right?
Yep, and we have before at Big Ben.
Yeah. It helps. This is part of the reason why I miss it when we take it anywhere, because we need the table. I do.
So you can see the frame. We toss stuff in here when it's parked, just like anybody else does with their stuff. So we usually sweep this out a few times a year. I grease it up maybe twice a year. This was probably an old plumber's bed from an S10 or a Ranger. This actually goes in here when we store our poles and our fishing rod holders.
That's where we had the
Napkins,
yeah.
Little hand cleaner.
Yeah, that's like our sanitation area.
So the problem with the Iron Maiden has been these joints or these welds. The structure itself is pretty thin, and getting a good solid weld to penetrate and not make more holes than what are already there is difficult. I'm working on someone else's project. I bought it and have continued working on it. They covered it in bed liner. They didn't fill all the way around. It had big large tacks, and it was a street trailer. So they would tow this to an area called Port Mansfield here in South Texas. And for on the road, you don't got to worry much, except for maybe potholes here and there. But we're avid beachgoers. And if you know anything about a beach, you know the waves cause whoops in the sand. And our first trip, major trip, down the Padre Island National Seashore was a success. All the way up until it wasn't. On the way out, probably the last 20 miles or less, the roof entirely collapsed to the front. Thank God for that. It usually had a black roof on it, a composite roof, and an ARB tourer rooftop tent that fits 5 people. We also usually have an ARB touring awning on the edge of it, and so the weight was not conducive to the type of welding that it had. We made some repairs a few times. We added these 45s, which I'll probably need to hit again. I didn't touch those when I did this. If you come close, You can see where I added material here. I added material here. And I fused it. You can see the material here and here. It's very weak right there. Did the same thing on all 4 corners. What's cool is on this side you can't see them, but I ran out of cutting wheel and I just happened to find a nickel and a quarter. Let's see if we can see it in here. Let's see. And I filled some holes.
I see it. I see the quarter.
So if you're ever missing material and you need to fill some small holes, quarters and nickels weld just fine with flex plier. It has your standard hitch, and when we make the switch, we'll go to the pencil. The 7-pin connector hadn't been running properly, so I just ran a 4-pin. We've had to replace this once because of driver error. It's got what we use for firewood.
I think you could put a ice chest here too.
And here is the inside of the storage box. This already came this way. It came with 2 red top batteries. Unfortunately, they were dead. It's got a 5-switch panel. It's got a master power switch. And it's got its amp fuse box. Got one of our rod holders. The Iron Maiden also has 2 jerry can holders. We usually had 2 water ones. Unfortunately, they were lost in a fire.
Everything's replaceable.
It's got 4 of these, 1 on each corner. And we had LED strips on there. We need to replace. I'll probably be adding gusseting and 45s to the front as well. That probably still works. We just need to... We'll probably end up replacing it. We use Alpino products for our lighting solutions, just like we do on the truck. Iron Maiden is on 16-inch rims. Tires aren't matching, but they're still very good. Side markers and
it has a spare right in the bottom.
yeah, it does have a full-size spare. Right under there. Rancho shocks. You can see the sand's been, the salt water's been doing a number on her. I'm probably looking for a box to replace it with. Take it off the frame and put on a new one. My plans for totally refabbing it, hold this, por favor, is to this was making it difficult. See, she's got her little quirks. I plan to get some more square tubing to run down to here and here so that it doesn't mess. I'll move these lights and I'll move these lights. And I'll bring it up and extend it this way on each side. Probably get rid of these. Make a little new design on the roofing and replace the corners.
Yeah.
But I'm really thinking of waiting to do that with the new box.
Okay.
Other than that, that's the Iron Maiden, and we appreciate you wanting to know a little bit more about it. Us here at Overland Hemisphere have been working hard to bring you good content, good clean content, and just the overall realness experience. We don't do much of the moving shots. We don't do much of setting up cameras ahead of us or behind us. It's something we do plan to do in the future, but for now it's just my wife and I most of the times on our adventures. Our kids are in a stage where, you know, the outdoors isn't their thing too much. We still take them with us. We try to keep them off the cameras and keep them out of bad people's heads, and we hope you guys do the same thing. And for you all who don't, and your kids are older, good for you. Everybody is to each their own. So no qualms about that. We appreciate you watching the content. A like, comment, and subscription would really help the channel grow. We do it for us, but we also do it for you. If you haven't ever been to South Texas, we take you to all kinds of places down here. If you don't drive on the beach, we'll get a bunch of tips and tricks on how we drive on the beach. If you've never been to West Texas, we got a video about that, and we plan to visit there again. We got Central Texas on our mind, North Texas, East Texas, and other surrounding states, and our entire hemisphere. The name, yes, does come from the Dodge brand. We started with a 5.7 liter 2014 Ram 1500. We upgraded to a 2018 6.4 liter Hemi Ram 2500 Power Wagon. The Power Wagon is equipped with 3 lockers, center diff, front and rear diff, low and high range gear, and electronic front disconnect, with also a factory mounted 12K Warren winch. The winch needs a little bit of maintenance. We'll get that done and get it respooled. That way we can help with slow recoveries with the winch if we need to. But recoveries are going to be a little more fancy here coming up. We're going to focus a little bit more on our production for our recovery videos. We're not going to change completely to recovery as a recovery channel, but we're probably going to have a larger amount of recovery content coming at you. And we'll tell you why once again here in the near future. Thanks a lot.